Before the Latitude Festival in Suffolk raises the curtain on another 4 days of the arts, everything from poetry to pop.
This year, 3 new bands will be appearing on stage. They're local and got their chance thanks to the Introducing programme on BBC Radio Suffolk. Dawn Gerber got to know them during a trip to the seaside.
Hello, I'm Sevan.
And I'm Nina.
And together we're part of Project Big Ears.
Hi, I'm Callum, this is Nick, and this is Harry, and we are These Ghosts.
Hi, this is James, this is Nathan, this is Tom, and we are the Cads. I'm Stefan. Oh.
We're here on sunny Southwold beach, and I've got a challenge for these guys. They've got to build a sandcastle that represents them and their music. Okay, are you ready? Go!
I've brought the bands to Southwold because it's the home of the Latitude Festival. The 4-day event takes place just a few miles up the road.
We'll just be here for the next 5 hours.
Right, we've got water. Right.
So what do their finished castles look like?
This is a big ear to go with the Project Big Ears.
We've got quite a big boundary wall to represent the large and diverse soundscape.
Well, as you can see, we've got the vibrant craolers. They represent our vibrant kind of sound.
It always has been, and unfortunately probably always be, really difficult for bands to get out there on the bigger scene, but with stuff like the Introducing festivals, the stages they're putting on, it makes it a lot easier to be seen by a bigger audience, and we're really happy to be part of that. And also trying to do something that we don't think is being done, certainly in the local area, but generally as well.
It means a lot to play at Latitude.
All of us in the band are from different sort of musical backgrounds anyway. I tend to do more classical music. Our drummer's sort of jazz, really, isn't he?
An Iranian cellist. And so I've written the album around them, exactly what they do best.
Basically, we uploaded our music to the BBC uploader, and we got played on BBC Suffolk, and then it got passed to Radio 1, and they played us as well, and we got picked as the tip of the week. We're really happy that we're playing Latitude. It's just like such a big opportunity for like a band that's just been like not going too long. We have an ambient side and we have like a really dancey side, and I think we just like mixed the two together, and it's just like made like this new genre.
The Cads, look out for them at Latitude next month. We'll have full coverage from the festival, which starts on July the 15th.
A parade by soldiers from the Royal Anglian Regiment ran into an anti-war protest today. The march through Barking in East London was held to celebrate their return from duty in Afghanistan.
Some protesters heckled the soldiers and brandished placards with slogans like "British soldiers go to hell." It had echoes of the trouble which affected a similar march in Luton last year. Let's get the details now from our reporter Aisha Baksh, who's in Barking.
Well, the protest finished some hours ago now, and as you can see here in the town centre, things are pretty quiet. The bunting is still up along the streets of the High Street to welcome the troops home and give them the freedom of the borough. Before the parade started, though, a small group of Muslim extremists made their voices heard.
Anglian Regiment butchers! British soldiers butchers! British soldiers butchers!
This was not the welcome the soldiers had wanted. Muslim extremists shouting abuse, penned in and separated.
Well, the confrontation has already begun before the parade has got underway. On one side of the road are the Muslims Against the Crusades, a group saying they're against war in Afghanistan, and on the other side of the road are people who say they are patriotic in support of the troops but against the Muslim protesters.
Some of them belonging to far-right groups such as the English Defence League. For many locals and the council, the presence of the Muslim demonstrators was inappropriate.
These people don't represent the Muslim community. These people are very few, warp-minded individuals, and I think the government, whoever's in charge, needs to take action against events like this when they try and, cause disruption, divide communities.
I know how they feel about the war, but there's ways of sorting things out without going demonstrating and spoil the day for these lads.
It's terrible. My son's just come back from Afghanistan. And he's just wrong. So wrong. They're out there because that's what their job is.
But the parade still began on time, and as they marched through the town, the soldiers were given a much warmer reception. The battalion was based in the volatile Helmand province for 6 months. They lost 5 men. For the head of the battalion, the protest did not mar their day.
Well, we live in a democracy, and clearly there's a freedom for people to express themselves. The numbers of people who are here on the street supporting us just far outweigh any number of people who are using the opportunity for their own means.
So despite a tense start, the Royal Anglian Regiment were welcomed home with respect and support.
Well, as you mentioned, there were similar scenes in Luton last year when another group called Islam for UK heckled the troops. They were subsequently banned by the then Home Secretary. Now, we spoke to the Home Office tonight and they told us they would only ban such a group on advice of the security and intelligence services.
Aisha, thank you very much.
Now, did you know it's nearly 30 years since mobile telephones first became commercially available in the UK? Amazingly, there are still places in this region where you can't get a usable signal.
The patchy network coverage is not only a nuisance for casual users, it's also costing business users lost revenue. Now the mobile phone companies are to come under official pressure to improve their service.
Excuse me. Anna.
Dad, he's left me.
Vodafone says what matters to you matters to them.
People depend on our network.
And of course the other networks when they can get a reception, which is not always possible in our region.
Certain parts of March, like the Station Road area, is a nightmare.
I2's wicked. Not out that way though.
Our ambulance service, which deals with life and death situations, won't use mobiles because they're unreliable here.
995 control.
It's now installing digital radios across the region.
The reasons we don't tend to use mobile phones is they're inconsistent with the coverage levels that we have across the region. With digital radio, we have the clarity, we have the reception.
Like many businesses, Paul Spink says his engineering consultancy suffers because of the poor mobile phone reception his 35 staff have to use.
Moving into the renewable sector that we're dealing with now, many of the contracts there are many hundreds of thousands of pounds if we did lose one of those as a result of the mobile phone signal being lost.
The reason we often have bad reception in this area is because there aren't many of these. Now, the signal on your phone depends on how close you are to the mast. Now, buildings and also hills or lack of hills also contribute, so do the trees and the weather.
For users, the situation isn't set to get much better. The regulator Ofcom is to investigate later this year, but says mobile phone operators are obliged to cover only 90% of the UK. It's said to be a commercial decision. Debbie Tubby, BBC Look East.
And if your life or your business is hampered by a poor mobile phone service, then get in touch. You can ring, hopefully, or email.
Don't you hate it when people text as they're walking along and they bump into you? I shouldn't say that, should I? Yeah, it should, yeah. Chris, the weather.
Yeah, dangerous to do that today since we have had a breezy day. Northeast